Welcome to the Hutchinson News Facebook page. I am Kelton Brooks, Sports Editor here, and I have with me a special guest today, Devonte Bandoo, the Hutchinson Community College guard from Brampton, Ontario, Canada. Devonte, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. So, before we get into his big decision, he played 2 years at Hutchinson. As a freshman, he averaged around 13 points per game. This past season, averaged 16.6. You are a versatile, athletic type of guard. So, what's one of the avenues about your game that people don't see?
I'm very quiet, but I could also be outspoken, and you guys don't see in the locker room, like I'm a leader. I tell my guys, let's get it going. That's one thing people don't really see on the court. But everybody knows I'm a very quiet kid. But I think that's one thing people don't see.
And last year's team, the championship winning team, where you guys were just stacked with Shakur Houston, who went on to win the NJCAA Player of the Year. You had Samaje Haynes-Jones, who went on to play at Wichita State. Then you have Nicola. Then you have, of course, Kai came back. And then Poppy, of course, Poppy Conley. Can't forget about Poppy.
Yeah.
You guys had so much talent, and it did not include, from the list of names I just said, it was you or J.J. Rhymes. So talk to me just about the talent and then just how you guys were able just to come all together that season and deliver a championship.
Like you said, that team is one of a kind. Definitely, that team is one of a kind. We had Shakur, we had Samaje, Poppy, especially Poppy. Poppy was a great leader coming in, he was very outspoken, when he saw something wrong, he said it. Shakur was, an animal on the rebound. Samaje was just quick, just playing against those guys, playing against them in practice definitely got me better. And it was just like, me coming off the bench, I was instant ready to go. So anytime Samaje or Poppy or JJ was, they had a rough start, I knew I could come in. Coach, I knew he could rely on me and come in and, get the offense going until they got heated back up. He'd sum me up. But I definitely learned a lot from them. It was a great experience. I wish nothing but the best for those guys.
All right. So, of course, if you've been following Hutch, a lot of people don't know that you came off the bench as a freshman before starting. Of course, starting this past season. What was the difference between coming off the bench and starting this season?
Believe it or not, as a freshman, I didn't like it at all. I always grew up starting. Every team I played for, I've always played with like the top talents, and I never just came off the bench. But it was something that I had to adapt to, and Coach Eck knew I didn't like it. I talked to him plenty of times about it, but it's just something that I had to embrace. I wasn't gonna make it. I was not gonna make the team about me. It's about the team. I just use it to my advantage, and we end up winning a championship out of it. So just turn everything into positive.
Right. So speaking of turning everything into a positive, you started this past season, and you guys won the first game, of course, in the national championship, in the tournament, in the national tournament. Then you guys lost the second game. How hard is it just to become mentally prepared to win another championship after winning one just a season prior?
It's tough because you have freshmen, they don't really understand the magnitude of nationals. It's much more fans. It's more sold out. It's more intense. Like a lot of players on our team were really healthy. It was tough. It was a tough season. I wish we could have went all the way and went back to back, but it's very unfortunate. But I'm sure the freshmen, they've learned. At least they got the experience, and I'm sure next year, they can probably win 2019.
Here with him, Hutchinson Community College guard Devonte Bandoo. He will announce what school he's signing with next season. But Devonte, you guys, of course, have several home games this season, and like you mentioned, sometimes freshmen don't understand the magnitude of when you get into nationals. But even as a sophomore, is there a difference between playing at home in the regular season versus playing at home in the national tournament? The national tournament is, of course, based in Hutchinson, but is there a difference between the regular season and nationals?
Me personally, I don't really think so. But the only thing I think is different is just it's much louder. It's more cameras. It's just bigger. With home games, we have the intro video and all that nice stuff. And nationals, it's not there. It's just two teams playing, but we're at home, and it's just like you just gotta play hard out. Because the team that's playing against us, they're trying to take us off our home court, and we gotta know that teams don't like us. No one likes the championship, so we got to go even 10 times harder when we play.
Okay, so playing with JJ, like people came into Hudson knowing that JJ, Devonte, if we stop them, if we cut off the head of the snake, we can end it. We know we can come out and get a victory.
Yeah.
But that was easier said than done.
Yeah.
So how special was it with playing with JJ Rhymes, who went on to sign at Grand Canyon University? How special was that playing alongside of guard with that type of talent?
You know, that's been my roommate for 2 years. You know, I've had a wonderful time with him. Playing with him, you know, I learned from him. You know, especially I learned a lot how to absorb contact and finish. Believe it or not, he probably will be happy hearing me say this, but I watch him in practice. You know, study how he takes contact and finish. You know, because that's one thing that guy can do. He can finish through contact, 2 to 3 guys, and I study him and I watch him, and you know one thing I really wish that we could have won it all the way, me and him, because that'd have been very special, but it didn't happen. But that's my guy right there.
When it comes to a star-studded backcourt with 2 guards, who would you compare yourself to? I know you have Dame and C.J. McCollum out in Portland. You have John Wall and Beal out in Washington. Is there a specific tandem, or even Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan out there in Toronto?
Yeah.
Is there a particular tandem to compare you guys to?
No, I just think we got our own style. I think we just got our own style, me and JJ. You know, that he's a good player. That's one thing I like about him. He's a good player. He works hard, you know, and he's a great finisher. At the end of the day, he's a very outgoing guy. But like I said, I think it's just Devonte and JJ. We don't have anyone else that compare us to.
So, what was it like playing with Steve X? Playing under Steve X. I know people say him is very soft-spoken, but when you hear him out in the game, X is a different guy. He's a fiery coach. People might not describe X as fiery, but he really is.
Yeah.
So, what was it like playing with him?
It's different. It's very different. But one thing I know, that guy, he has a heart of gold, you know, and even before the game, he's a well-spoken guy. You know, he cares about everyone. Even if you don't play 1 minute of the game, he's there for you. You know, he's a soft-spoken guy, but you know, during the game, he wants to win, and that's one thing I really respect about him. He has that heart, he has that mindset. He knows teams are coming after us, and he hates to lose. He hates to lose more than anything, and I respect him for that, because not a lot of coaches will think like that, and I really respect him.
Again, I'm here with Devonte Bandoo. Devonte, you're from Canada. I know we spoke about this briefly before we started this, and you coming from Canada to Wichita, Kansas. Tell me about that process. I know I spoke with Jay before, and he told me it was a hassle.
It was. You know, I played for Stack LC, which was in Atlanta, so I played a little AAU team over there, and Coach Stack was my coach. You know, I was getting recruited a bunch of Division I programs, and I found.
When you say Coach Stack, talking about Jerry Stack.
Jerry Stackhouse, yeah. And I was getting recruited by a lot of coaches and schools, and I found out like I wasn't going to be qualified. And Jay just came out of nowhere, contacted me like I think it was like 11:30 at night, and I guess he didn't think I was up, but I texted him up. He called me, he sent me a bunch of pictures of the arena. And he's like, man, I think we have a great situation for you. You know, it's late. It's like July. It's really late. And I'm like, okay. You know, I'm just finding out that I'm not qualified. So I'm like, okay. He's like, I like to get you out. Let's check out the campus. So, talked to Stack, talked to the coaching staff over there. Got a chance to go visit them. You know, once I was there, you know, I fell in love with the campus. I fell in love with the players that were there. You know, I knew like when I got to play against Samaje, which that was a tough guard to guard when I was on my visit, but I knew like he would get me better, you know. So I really enjoyed my visit when I first came.
So of course, look for that flight from Toronto to Wichita, and then of course coming here to Hutch. And Joe was telling me how it was just hard, literally hard to bring it back to Hutch because you couldn't get through customs.
Yeah.
What happened with that?
There would be like say if I had a flight at like 11:30, I would be at the airport maybe at 8:30, and they would scan my passport, and they would tell me, here, can you go in this room? And I would be in that room for like 4 hours, 4 hours just sitting there. And by the time I got out, like I missed my flight, and they told me there was no more flights going to Wichita. And it happened again, and it happened the day after. So it was just like Coach Jay had enough, and you know he came down there, talked to the security guard. You know, some way, I don't know, somehow, some way he got me through, and you know, I got to be back in Hutch, but it was tough.
That's the recruiting element coming from, of course, high school and that AAU elite circuit to Hutchinson. So now going to some of those top schools. I know you've been recruited by so many. South Carolina, Oklahoma, Indiana, Rutgers. Some of those coaches came to watch you play at the Region 6 tournament. So what was that recruiting process like?
It's tough because, you know, those are the schools that you just hear about, you know. You hear about them growing up, and it's just like, you're like, wow, they're coming after me. You know, these head coaches are coming to watch me. You know, it's tough, and it's just like, you don't want to let them down. And you know, at the end of the day, you got to pick one. You can't pick 2 or 3, you gotta just pick one. So it's tough, and you know it gets, especially when one comes, more comes. So it's just like it's a hard decision, and you just gotta go with your gut and go with your family thinks, and talk to some of your coaching staff, and just talk to them, and they'll guide you through the right direction.
And 2 schools you mentioned to me, I know they didn't make your final rounds, but one was UNLV, where Shakur Houston is, and then the other was Wichita State, where Samaje Haynes-Jones is, both of your former teammates. Yeah. So when they called you, what was you thinking?
I want to be able to get to play with my brothers, you know, try to win a Division I national champion. And it was tough, you know, just trying to go over there. But I just knew, like, I'd have to pick the right school for me. And if they were the right school, I'll be there. If there wasn't, I know it'd be all peace and love, you know.
So, who were your final schools on your list?
So I narrowed down to 4 schools. There was K-State, Baylor, South Carolina, and K-State, Baylor, South Carolina, and Minnesota. Yeah, that's right. It was Minnesota.
Okay. K-State, of course, Kansas State, right down the road in Manhattan. Said South Carolina, Minnesota, and Baylor. Yeah. So out of those 4 schools, you can look at that right there in the middle, and you tell everyone who's watching what school did you decide to attend your next 2 years of basketball.
Well, I would thank all those schools that are recruiting me. You guys, all the coaches have did a great job. I like to also thank God. I like to thank my family and the coaching staff that really helped me with this decision. But the school I decided to attend for the next 2 years is Baylor University.
Baylor University. What led you to decide to go to Baylor?
As soon as I got there, you know, the whole coaching staff came to pick me up. The whole coaching staff. There was about 5 coaches in one car coming to see me, and I was just like, whoa. Like, you know, they showed that they really wanted me. And then when I was out there, you know, I got to hang out with Coach Drew, and you know, outgoing guy, very caring, I could tell. And then the development part, you know, I'm not going to school just to stay the same. I want to go to school to get better, and I felt like that school right there was going to push me to my limit, and I felt like that's where I should be. And they also play the best conference in college basketball. And, you know, I get to play against KU and K-State and all those great schools, all those great programs, and I want to play against the best players. That's what's going to get me better.
Of course, we're picking Baylor. Like he just said, he will remain in the Big 12 against KU and K-State, a lot of teams that people follow here, of course, in Hutchinson, Kansas. So what is it like for you just to still be in that spotlight, basically in Kansas, where you played your last 2 years of basketball?
It's going to be great because I know I can call Kansas, you know, home. You know, I can call Kansas home. You know, at first, I'm a city guy. You know, Kansas is, you know, all farm and flat land, but I've grown with it. You know, I really like it. It's very peaceful. I can relax. You know, and I can call this place home now.
And what did you know about Baylor before you made the decision, or even before they started the recruiting process?
What I didn't know too much about them. You know, I knew that they're a good program, but I didn't know too much about them.
Okay, Devonte Bandoo again just announced that he will go to Baylor University. Devonte, what type of person, what type of player are the fans, the coaching staff, the administration, what type of person are they receiving?
They're receiving a kid that is a hard worker, definitely. He's going to be in the gym, you know, maybe too long than I should be, but You know, they're a quiet kid, you know, focused on his school, doesn't really like to go out and do all that extra stuff just because I know I'm here on a business, and that's how I treat when I go into school. I'm really here on business to accomplish my goals, and that's the type of kid they're going to receive there.
Again, Hutchinson Community College guard Devonte Bandoo, he has announced that he will sign with Baylor University. Thank you.